Good afternoon, students. We have already discussed in two lectures. The first was Environmental Protection Act, and we have discussed in the next lecture solid waste, biomedical waste, and hazardous waste management. Today, our topic is environmental impact assessment. Environmental impact assessment. Yani the environmental impact assessment is to identify, predict the effect of proposed on the environment, economical, and social aspects of the environment. So here we discuss the detailed report of environmental impact assessment structure. It includes the detailed report with sections like introduction, project description, environmental baseline data, and anticipated impacts and mitigation measures. The environmental impact assessment structure also covers alternative analysis, an environmental management plan. Yani we have to manage the impact on the environment. Yani we have to identify, predict the effect of the project on. We should have a proper environmental management plan, a monitoring program, and a final summary and conclusion. In the broader sense, we can say environmental impact assessment structure is itself involves the stage such as screening, scoping. What is the scope? We should have proper screening. We should consult the public. We should make people aware about the impact of the project on the environment. And we should interact with the public, with the people. That means public consultation. We should review the impact of the project. We should make people aware about the project. Then decision making and post decision monitoring process. These are some of the proposals. The first one is proposal identification. Then there is the process of screening. Process of screening. This is the outline of environmental impact assessment. project proposal identification is first. Proposal identification, then comes the process of screening. It has two: initial environmental examination. One, we do not involve the environmental impact assessment, and in other process is where the environmental impact assessment is required. Environmental assessment, impact assessment. It involves scoping, what is the scope of the project, and the second one is impact analysis. And we should have to analyze the impact of the project being proposed. Then there is the process of mitigation and impact management. Yani ki what is the effect of the project on the environment, social. We should have to identify the impact of the project being proposed. Then we should have a proper report on environmental impact assessment. Then there should be the public involvement also. Then we should have a proper review. Then there is the process of decision making. Decision making is an important process where all the elements of processing the environmental impact assessment should be included. Then there comes, if the project is right with regards to the effect on the environment, social and economic conditions of the environment, then whether the project should be approved or not. If the project is good, if it has the positive impact on the environmental impact assessment, then the project should be approved. And after approval of the project, it should be implemented and follow up to generate the information from this process that contribute to the effective future. If the project is approved, it should have the positive impact on the environment. It should have the positive impact on the structure of the environment. It should have the positive impact on the social and cultural aspects of the environment. And that project has been approved that contributes to the effective future of environmental impact assessment. If the project do not follow the right contribution to the effective structure of environmental impact assessment, the project in the decision making is not approved. And not approval. If it is not approval, then we have to redesign it. First, we have to redesign it and we have to resubmit it. If again it is not improved, then we have to revise it, redesign it and resubmit it if it has become positive in the contribution of the effective implementation of the environmental impact assessment, then the project has been finally approved. Now, what is the baseline? Now we will discuss the baseline data for environmental impact assessment. Environmental impact assessment. So what is the baseline data? The baseline data for an environmental impact assessment is the process of acquiring the data through primary and secondary methods. And we have to acquire the data for environment impact assessment by primary and secondary methods, which involves field collection and the use of the existing data respectively. Data is collected across various environmental components including physical, that means topography, and the quality of water. And the second one is biological. Biological example is flora and fauna. Social, we can say demographics. And the economic means the generation of the employment. The generation of the employment is very essential component of environmental impact assessment. The environmental impact assessment report structure organizes this information to establish the current environmental state for impact prediction and mitigation. Now, there are certain types of methods of acquiring the data for positive environmental impact assessment. The first one is primary data acquisition. This involves collecting new data directly from the project site. And we have to collect the data directly from the project site through field studies and measurements. Field survey, it includes, we should visit the site, to collect physical, biological and socio-economic data. The second one is sampling and analysis. In sampling and analysis, we take water, soil and air samples and then transfer those samples in the laboratories where we can test these samples for further analysis. And one more is direct measurements. In direct measurements, we use equipments to measure air, water quality and noise level. And in the direct measurement, we can use the proper equipments in order to know the quality of water, to know the quality of air, and we can also measure the level of the noise. What is secondary data? Secondary data involves gathering the existing information. So it means the primary data is the fresh information and the secondary data acquisition, it involves the data from the already existing information from various sources. Like we can say the literature review. Yani ki we can consult the already published scientific research articles and reports on the area and environment. We will already consult the already existing research and the scientific data that is available. The second one is public record. Yani ki we will review the government documents, census data and historical records. Public records means we have to review the data from the government and we will have to review the data that we have generated through census. We can take the record, yani ki historical records, in order to know about these areas and the environment. One more is remote sensing. Using satellite, we can use, this is also very important, this has been used as a modern technology for acquiring the baseline data. And we can use satellite imagery, existing aerial photographs. We can use existing aerial photographs to analyze land use and cover. Then last, we can use the questionnaires using surveys and questionnaires to gather the information from the local communities, which this questionnaire process is very important. Questionnaire process is very important for the acquisition of the baseline data, where we can interact with the people, where we can interact with the public, where we can make it possible that the public should take active participation in the acquisition of the baseline data. That will be very important for the process of environmental impact assessment. Now, what are the various components? Here we discuss the various components of baseline data. One is physical environment, biological environment, socio-economic and cultural environment. Then there is land use and cover. Physical environment includes topography, geology, soil, surface, groundwater, air quality and climate. These are included under physical environment. What is biological environment? It involves if we are collecting the information on flora, fauna, ecosystems, biodiversity and sensitive habitats. The third one is socio-economic and cultural environment, in which we can collect cover the demographics, economic activities, infrastructure and cultural heritage sites. Then there is one more process, that is land use and land cover. These are some of the components of baseline data. In land use and land cover, we can have some details on the existing patterns of the land use, land cover in the project area. Today, we have discussed about the environmental impact assessment structure. That was our third lecture, and we have given the various processes where we should have where we should know which project have been approved or not. Then we have discussed the baseline data for environmental impact assessment. Then we have discussed the various methods for the acquiring baseline data. We have here discussed the various components of baseline data. It is all about today's lecture. Thank you, students.